Hello and welcome back. Let's just dive right on into it. So my last video, I talked about my career background, and now I'm going to talk to you about my experience at the Phoenix Suns and Mercury. So I left off on how I started in DE&I. After I got my promotion into management, I was approached by leadership, and they asked me if I was interested in doing DE&I for the organization, and I was like, yes, because I always believe in learning, developing, and leveling up. So I did that for about like 2 years. And then while I was also a business operations manager, that was my main job. Was doing both at the same time, working 60, 70 hours a week just to do both. And it was a perfect merger of my love of statistics, business operations. Um, I also love learning and development, so there was a little bit of that. I also have background in employee relations and HR from my time at DES. So all of this really was a well-rounded opportunity for me. And then towards the end, I wanted to do DE&I full time, and I started looking for roles, and boom, the Phoenix Suns and Mercury had a head of DE&I role position open, and I applied for it because I was like, this would be perfect for me. And I've always wanted to work in professional sports. When I was in high school, I thought I was going to be the first female defensive coordinator. And then when I got to college, people quickly shat on that dream, which is why I encourage you to be around people who believe in the dreams just as much as you do. People that don't believe in your dreams will revel in the fact that you're not achieving them and will plot behind your back and laugh behind your back. But other people's expectations of you should never guide you. So just remember that. Um, so back to the Suns, I started working there. And as soon as I started working there, I went from feeling like, oh my God, this is my dream job. I can't believe I'm here. Now I'm working in sports. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised. I'm a Valley native. So I was hyped. And it didn't take long before my dream turned into a nightmare. First, I was on the people and culture team. That's HR, just a different way of saying it. And at first, I loved everybody on the team. Uh, then I noticed that there were people that kept a lot of secrets. And then there was a girl who started on the same day that I did and quit 2 weeks in. And even though I was on the HR team and I was the DE&I leader, nobody would tell me why she quit. And I was like, hmm. And then someone told me a story about what happened, and I won't share that. That's not my business to share. But it was always stuff like that. And at first, when I first started working there, nobody trusted me because I was on the HR team. I didn't know that's what it was at first. But once I started showing up and walking around, getting to know people, people literally like, wow, you're not like the rest of the people on the HR team. And I was like, what does that mean? But I quickly found out. So a lot of the coworkers that I had on that team were terrible. And that's just being honest. Whether they were spreading rumors and gossip behind people's back, refusing to work with one another, fighting and yelling at each other in the office, craziness. So there was all that going on, and I was like, oh my gosh. But that is why I was there. So for a little bit of background, if you don't know, the Phoenix Suns and Mercury gotten themselves into some trouble because of problematic behaviors by senior level executives, led to an investigation. ESPN covered all that kind of stuff. One of the mandates that they were required to do was bring on a DE&I leader to help turn things around, and that person was me. And I was kind of shocked that my boss, who had me doing all these different projects, also put all those problematic executives over all the projects that I was working on, especially the diversity council had no diversity on it. It was me and white senior level executives who everyone kept telling me was the problem. And when I would talk about different projects, they'd be like, oh, who was involved? And I would tell them, and people would be like, oh. And once I started asking people, what is that reaction about? People really started opening up to me about a lot. I have never in my entire 22-year career seen people cry at work like the way I did there. I saw no less than 10 people break down and cry at work, come to me and cry about the things they were going through, like harassment, sexual harassment, bullying, being left out, having people steal their ideas and stuff. And every time I would talk to my boss about these things, it was just like she gave me this look of, because they really didn't want to change anything there. So, long story short, I started being bullied and harassed, had lies, rumors, and gossip spread about me, and I will tell you about that more in the next episode. Bye.